It was a roller coaster start to the 96 Bassmasters yesterday. The knives were out and the most likely lads perished. Chris McDonald was the first of 3 former champions to go. J Hodson had too many choice moves for Big Mac. Tommy Johnston's reign as Crown Green's Bassmaster ended ceremoniously for Kerry Morris. But not all of Johnston's hopes have been washed away. He'll be able to watch her indoors, outdoors. Cairns through, much to the embarrassment of Roger Morgan. 2 times winner and last year's runner-up John Bancroft also made a sharp exit. Well, they're not the only ones skating on thin ice. The past champions have drawn some slippery opposition. R Crawshaw's got a mountainous task this morning in the shape of Andy Cairns. He's bigger than Big Mac. And they don't come any bigger at all than Brian Duncan. But the bigger they are and all that. Duncan's coped with that sort of pressure, though, for over 20 years. The game's #1 is going for a 5th Bassmasters title. Yes, welcome to day 2. Another glorious morning here after an overnight deluge that should actually suit Brian Duncan as he goes in pursuit of the record first prize of £7,500. Now, his first round opponent is W Phillips, and in these parts they're sort of referring to him as Wayne who?
Even if he is making his Masters debut, I think you can forgive W Phillips for having other things on his mind. With proud mum Karen and grandma Chris, Wayne's been celebrating the arrival just 3 weeks ago of his first child Jack, a name that carries special significance in the Phillips household.
It's from Wayne's granddad. He was a keen bowl supporter, and Wayne's granddad died 4 years ago, so we named him after him, really. So he would have loved his first great-grandson, I think, if he'd still been here.
One of them people who he had to be a winner, and if I was going bad or something, he'd be, come on, mate, come on, mate. But as soon as I started winning, he'd be shouting for me and everything. He just had to win. He didn't like me losing. So he was great, yeah.
Of course, when you're a father, along with the delights come, well, shall we say, the other bits too. So what's Dad like at nappy changing?
Very good. The first one was a bit dodgy. He had a wet romper, but since that, it's very good, yes. Getting the hang of it, so we have I feed and I let Wayne up to do the nappy. That's the deal at the moment.
Now, though, it's not the difficulties of fatherhood, but those of beating favourite Brian Duncan that must be overcome.
There's a lot of other good players in there. You've got to beat players like Duncan, and there's Tommy Johnson, and there's Bancroft and Crawshaw, and they're all good players, really. They're going to take some beating.
Clearly, of course, Wayne would love another piece of silverware, but as Karen says, nothing could really compare with the biggest prize of all.
No, just glad we've got him, really. So, but I hope Wayne does well. I wish I could be there, really, but he's too young to take. So I just hope Wayne does really well, and we'll tell Jack all about it when he's old enough to know.
Well, an insight there into Wayne's private world, but he goes public this morning, and with me now is Glyn Cookson, who knows him, I think, probably better than anyone here at the Rakes. Glyn, you've played him many times. Now, obviously a nice chap, lovely family, but can he play bowls? Is he a good one?
I think Brian's got it all on with Wayne. I think he's a tremendous player. He doesn't travel too far. He stays more or less in his own district, but he does come up as far as where I live, and I think Brian's got a real game on.
See there that he's making his Bassmasters debut. I mean, that can be quite intimidating, and not only that, you're playing the great man himself, Brian Duncan. Is he likely to be overawed? There he is out on the green now.
Well, I don't think Wayne will, because he has got one thing on his side, that he's played Brian before and he's beaten Brian, no doubt. Brian,
when he was 18, actually, when he was just a wee slip of a lad.
Yes, yeah, and he's gained an awful lot of experience in between. He's been playing for the Shropshire side now for a number of years, and I think that. I think if there's going to be an upset, Brian will be on his mark for this one.
Brian will have to be on his mark, but look at that record, isn't it fantastic, Glyn? I should point out, of course, that you're the only former champion to survive yesterday's blitzkrieg, but I tell you what, in a few years to come, you wouldn't mind that, would you? 4 Bassmasters titles, not to mention 5 Waterloos.
I think that's tremendous. It just bears out the great man's capabilities. I mean, even if he's not comfortable on a certain green, and I don't think it's one of his better greens, he's still the favourite to win this competition.
A little bit slower this morning than it was yesterday as well. Now, that I mentioned right at the start that will suit him.
Probably. He doesn't like the bowls swinging around a little bit at the finish, and obviously the heavier conditions will stop that. So Brian will probably be happy with the rain.
Well, I think Wayne is going to be a little bit disappointed with that one, Glenn. I mean, he had a great opportunity there to level the scores at 8 across.
That's right, but it's just an odd slip, and he'll put that one behind him. I think it's going to be nip and tuck this game.
Well, you're going to join Brian Brett in the commentary box. Just before you do, where's your money on this one?
Oof, well, how can you back against Brian? I certainly wouldn't back against him. All I'm saying is just keep your eyes on this game.
There could be a surprise, is what you're saying. Duncan, 8-7. Glenn, you just pop next door and join Brian Brett, which we're about to do. Morning, Brian.
Morning, Elton. Morning, everybody at home. We have the makings of a game here. 8-7, the Duncan lead. 12 ends gone. We're just into the 13th end now, and Duncan is being matched. Young Wayne hasn't hesitated to take to the corners, and one would have thought that really would have been a great man's tactic too. This the second delivery of Wayne Phillips. Well, they're spread out. They're really all over the place. Duncan hasn't got a great deal to lose. He needs a little bit of work from the bowl now. More than that, he needs to stop. Well, they really are all over the place. Referee Arthur Scowcroft just waiting for the players to come and have a look at all this. Just wait until Brian Duncan has a long look. Got a good eye. Measure. A measure. 8-7. Duncan's lead. 13th and left. David Fishwick. Right, Peter Law. Give me a nice opportunity to welcome Glenn Cookson, still going strong. Are you happy with this situation? Speaking as a friend of Wayne's?
Wayne will be happy with the start, I would think, Brian. Yes, I think his main objective will be to stay in the game early on, and that's exactly what he's done, until he can pick up the run into the green, without having as much experience on it as Brian.
Just one.
Sounds as though it's just the one to blue.
Duncan, one.
Oh, Brian Duncan. I had a word with Wayne actually just before he went out. He's a bit of a cool customer, isn't he?
Wayne's a very cool customer, yeah. I've known him quite a few years now and played him several times. I think probably if he entered more tournaments, I think he'd probably have more success than he already does, and he has quite a bit of that anyway.
He lives in the wrong area really from a tournament point of view, I suppose. All the big money's in the northwest.
Yes, I think same as to get to Blackpool, Brian, he'll have a couple hours run.
Yeah.
And it probably gets a little bit too much, especially now he's concentrating on a family as well.
That's right. Well, that's a good first bowl. It's a length bowl. He actually beat Duncan when he was a 20-year-old. He remembers it well. It was at Meal Brace.
Yes, that'll be one of his local greens, so
yes.
He would have known the green quite well. Having said that, to beat Brian anywhere is an achievement.
It's an achievement, isn't it?
That's right. Well,
now then, we think maybe Duncan's shunt on that bowl might just get him in at this end.
I think Wayne's lying in.
Do you think he's in?
Phillips,
It is.
one.
Yep. Another one to great. Wayne Phillips.
So if Brian can't get away, then yeah, he'll be feeling as though he wants to get away, get in a nice flow, and that it's not happening for him quite yet. His lead bowl's not quite what he would want.
He's not gone full corners this time, sensibly.
No, I think Wayne's trying to feel Brian out. I think he's trying to get to a distance or a mark that Brian's not comfortable on.
Yes, they've played 3 times. Brian's won twice.
It's going out down the bank.
Well, giving it a chance. Nice rub now, be very helpful.
2 good balls.
Duncan got a bit of work to do here.
He's far enough.
Down, he is
He's
far enough.
Going out.
And out. Too far enough. Another 2. Wayne Phillips. He made a good start. He actually led 3-1. Then Brian overtook him 5-4, 7-4. And you think, well, maybe the great man is going to put the foot on the accelerator and get away, but he didn't. And now we have Wayne Phillips 10-9.
Yes, and Wayne will be right into this game now, Brian. The early nerves will have gone. He's level with Brian, and now he'll be really up for it.
He told me that, of course, appearing here was a dream. He won the meal price, the Bass meal price, which is a hard competition. Quality. That's a good lead.
Well, if he continues leading like this, he'll put Brian under pressure, but...
Yes. It's difficult to want to beat there, isn't it?
It is. It's right on the road, this ball.
He's not bad here, you know, is he? Yeah.
Duncan.
Now then, just underneath.
Father and brother. So Brian Duncan, trailing 9-10. Desperate to make a nice promotion if he can. He's done that before.
Tremendous balls.
Well, played for and got, I suppose. Takes just the
Duncan,
one. Oh, 2.
2.
2 to Duncan. Well, that's the bad news for Wayne Phillips. That's now 11-10 against him. Right, down greenside, getting a family view of things, Mike Sadler with the father of Wayne Phillips, Keith, and brother Darren. Over to you, Mike.
Yes, Father Keith, how do you feel the Wayne's started off?
I think he's done pretty well so far. A bit of a nervous start, but I just think he's all right now.
And Darren, how do you feel Wayne's coping with the pressure here?
Yeah, he's doing very well. Just worried about him having a bad start, but he seems like he's doing pretty well.
So I think you've got quite a little posse come up from the Shrewsbury area today.
Yeah, we don't usually come this far, but we have today, about 10 of us.
And you're looking forward to enjoying it here by the coast here in Blackpool?
Yeah, we're coming out for the weekend, so it should be a good weekend. Hopefully you can win a few games.
Right, stick your neck out, Dad.
Well, I think I'm hoping Wayne will just snake home, just 21-19 or something like that.
Father and brother are confident. We shall see.
Wayne Phillips then. Brian Duncan is now beginning to shake his head. This has gone all the way. Stop any time now. Well, again, they're spread out, Glenn. Have you got a fancy here?
I fancy that ball may have just stayed
that one
in.
that is kicking in.
Yes.
1.
Absolutely right. Another signal. So we're all square again.
You see, the problem for Brian is, you see, that the end before this, he's played 2 really good balls to Wayne's lead. He gets hold of the jack and then can't find one, and that's what he fights against on this green. It's just a confidence problem he has on the green for leading to the jack.
That's Brian.
That's Brian.
On the screen.
It is.
He's won the Bass 4 times, never here. But he's won the Talbot here. That was a few years ago. Do you think it gnaws at him a little bit?
I'm sure it probably does, but...
He said that about the Woodland Hotel, you know, in Ellesmere Port. He condemned it and said it should be a car park in the first couple of years.
He didn't do so bad on it in the
he
end.
did all right because it was difficult and it was not a tournament green.
Well, who knows? He could have the same results here.
And of course he likes to dictate the pace of a game, doesn't he? He likes to turn around quickly.
Well, exactly, and he will do that if he starts leading to the jack. You will find that he'll go quick. He'll try to rush Wayne then into a quick finish. But you see, Wayne's given opportunity to play a good in Brian, and he's not taking it again.
Well, he's got a strike here, hasn't he?
Yeah, he'll probably feel better.
Well, it's a controlled one, isn't it? Yeah,
playing through. And if he hits this right, he could lay 2.
He's trying, isn't he?
Yes, he's done it. Done it, certain. Now that's what Brian's capable of doing. Now what Brian will be thinking, now I've got to get hold of the jack, and make a good lead.
Well, it was an excellent, and it was more of a controlled shot through, wasn't it, Glenn?
Oh, it was superb.
Good connection.
Yeah, just the right weight on it. He knew that. I think he knew halfway down that it was either doing the bowl or the jack.
Yes, I think he turns away just before the end and grabs the foot, and he's look at him. He's moving now. He knows.
Yeah, he's known 2 yards off it. He knows it can't move.
But he's pushed out very deep here, and I suppose he's got to try him full corners when he can. What's his game, Wayne's?
Wayne usually plays around 30 yards and tries to cut the green in half, but he obviously doesn't know this green so well, so he'd probably be fishing around a little bit for where he's best suited himself.
Yes. Has he played in the Talbot, Wayne? Has he come up and played in that?
I don't
think he's been
I don't
here,
think he enters the handicap.
So.
No, I don't think so. Which obviously he'll be feeling that's a bit of a shame, really, because it does cost him a few points around the green.
Well, it'll cost him a few bob getting here, of course, all the way from here.
Well, you see now Brian's made a good lead, and that's giving confidence to play another one this time, you see. If Brian goes like this another couple ends, he could get away.
Well, what's his options here? Some weight.
Right, Wayne.
Yeah,
he's going to go for it.
Yeah, probably the correct bowlers.
Chance or a gap? Chance,
Done
chance. But he's saved.
Yeah, it's a good shot.
It's another single to the great man.
Duncan, one.
A little bit of daylight appearing there.
Yes, well, he'll be thinking now, Brian, of 14-11, you see. There's 3 difference.
14-11 then the score. More action shortly from the Rakes. Be back with you soon. And a welcome back to Blackpool and the Rakes Hotel. 14-11 to Brian Duncan when you left us just a couple of ends ago. He's since added 2 more singles, 16-11. But the ominous thing, I suppose, Glenn Cookson, is that Brian Duncan really does look now as though he means the business.
Well, up to this end, Brian, I was just going through. It was just going through my mind that I think he's what we just call just changed the gear.
Phillips,
he's gone up a gear, but at this end he's gone back to. He's played 2 bad ones again. Just give Wayne half a chance.
Yes, 13-16, and he's changing things now. He's cutting across the green. It really is a bit of an education for him, isn't it? He doesn't know the green, and he doesn't really quite know the strength and the range of Duncan, although accepting that he's the game's greatest.
Well, that's right. Wayne, I'll have probably heard people say that Brian's not comfortable on the green, but Wayne will be thinking, well, what does that mean? How close is he going
well, he wants perfection, doesn't he?
Exactly. At the moment, it's still just too good for Wayne at the moment, although Wayne's just found a nice little mark with a bit of pace in.
This is
and it's a type of mark that I thought Wayne may have started off from. At the beginning, I thought he would have started off playing this type of mark.
Yes.
Let's have a look. Yeah, I think he's got the weight again.
We think about Shropshire bowlers as playing this, don't we, this sort of game.
That's right. That's
it's
right.
Only cool people like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Now he's going to have to go at this, isn't he? This is going to be the old firepower.
Yes. And he could hit them both here if he hits.
Well, he could part them.
Well, he's done the job. He's got the jack.
Yeah, he's got the jack off, so it could well have been down to 16-15 as it is. It stays 16-13 with.
Yes.
It was a good strike. It was some power. It was precision. He could have gone better than that, really, couldn't he?
Well, if he'd been fortunate, he could have split the bowls and counted himself. But Brian will not be disappointed about that. Wayne will be the most disappointed. He's 3 shots behind again, and it's 2 ends difference.
Must be very sort of distracting, disturbing when you put 2 good bowls up like that, and then in comes the old cannon fire.
Well, of course, it's a danger you take. It's a danger with the mark that you select that this could happen.
He's well within range, isn't he, with these? But he's led there, well, a good yard, maybe 2 yards adrift.
Yes, I think some of the bowls he's played are just showing that he doesn't know the green quite as well. He's just played uphill, you see, and it's a bit of a stiff mark, this one.
It's a push, is it?
It's a bit of a push. But he's corrected it with this. Yes.
This is better than Duncan, so just get round it.
Yes, Brian's not played close enough when he hasn't taken it up well enough.
Well, he thinks he can beat it, no question of any sort of strike at this stage.
I think this is well within his capabilities,
Unless it kicks away now, you know. Has it kicked away?
It has, yes.
Phillips, another one. Well, he's sticking in there, you know, Glenn, as you predicted. Brian will know he's got a game on his hands. 14-16.
And as it gets nearer to the finish, it'll be going through Brian's mind again, you know, this bogey on this green, but I still think that Wayne's going to have to win the next couple of ends to win this match.
You think tactically this is the game to play now?
Yes, I do. I do, yes.
Bearing in mind that if he gets them too close, they're going to go.
Well, it's better to get them there, Brian. But the problem is he's got underneath and he hasn't got a good bowling at this end.
He has bowled extremely well for 14 points, Wayne Phillips.
Brian would have been relieved that he hadn't made a good lead. However, he's not really taken
Brian's
it up.
not improved, has he?
Hardly.
What about the green? I would have thought the green would suit Brian this morning.
Yes, well, that rain that we had a deluge last night, and the rain will have just slowed it slightly.
Look at this, it's not
And
getting
this
there,
is
is it?
short as well, and I think Brian might be lying on.
Yeah, got a chance at 2. Bit of a swirling wind around this morning, but plenty of blue sky.
Well, Brian's now played underneath.
Yes, well, he's all right.
But it
What do you
may
think?
get it.
I think that's good, hasn't it? Maybe a measure, you know. A long look at these, Brian. He's a good judge, isn't he?
Pegs, please.
Wayne wants the pegs. Have you got a fancy here? I think the blue, the right hand, the left hand blue on the
I wouldn't be
screen.
surprised if Brian isn't 2 here,
Yeah, that's
and Wayne's measuring a 1 against the 2.
Right.
1 against 2.
It
He's
is 1
actually
against
taking
2,
1 out.
actually.
He's
It's
taking
just
1
Blue
out.
1
and
against
he's
2 grey ones, please, gentlemen.
Dave
blue 1 against
Twishwick,
2 grey
Peter
ones.
Law, 1 against 2. Important stage of the game at 16-14.
Yes, it is. It is. That's why I felt that Wayne had to win the next couple of ends, really, to get back to
Green knowledge
level.
found him out there, didn't it, really? Lack of green knowledge.
I think so. I think he's just been unfortunate. He's played some real good balls, but just the green knowledge is just...
Yes, thank you.
Great.
Duncan, 1.
It's just 1, yes. 1 to Duncan.
Brian will be looking for somewhere he can make a good lead to. He won't be trying to lose Wayne. He'll just be trying to find somewhere he can lead to his own jab.
Right. It wouldn't surprise you to know that when they went out, the odds on the heat were 1 to 5 Duncan, 3 to 1 Phillips.
Well, I can understand Brian being the favourite, but
It was a good bet, really, wasn't it?
It would have been a yes, yes,
Good bet on
on Wayne, yes, because not many people you see around here will have heard of Wayne, but Wayne's a good player, and those odds don't reflect the difference in capabilities.
All right. 50 to 1 to win the tournament. Wayne and Brian, right from the start, 4 to 1, despite his apparent dislike of the green. Well, that's improved, but you would think they're going to be beaten. Brian Duncan.
I would expect Brian to beat these, although I think he's too far again, Brian.
He's flying down there.
Yeah,
isn't
he's
he?
too far
And he's
again.
going to skate through the back.
Wayne could just be lying in with this one.
Well, I think he's
First
on
ball,
for the first
yeah.
one. I tell you what, gets a second here. There's 1 point in it. Now then, bowl. Look tight to me. He might just
I
peg
think
away. It's
it'll
got to
stick.
stop, though, hasn't it?
I think it'll
He's got
stick,
it. He's
yes.
got it.
Phillips,
For 2.
2.
Yes. Well, I think those odds might have just swung around a little bit now. You know.
I don't know. I think
Right.
Book is now probably
They
wondering.
know all about Brian.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, where's he going now?
Wayne's going back towards the opposite
He's
corner
taking him
now.
on, isn't he? Well, Brian would have gone there, wouldn't he?
I think he may have done, Brian, yes. I think he may have done it. It's all about leading, you see.
5.
So Wayne will be thinking, if I can lead to my own jab,
Yes, the pressure's
then
on
I'm not
Brian.
really bothered where Brian would have wanted to go, you
Oh,
see.
that's right. Yeah. Well, he could have been better. That's not bad there, is
That's
it?
a fair
That's
lead
all
on
right.
that, Mark. That's a good ball.
That's in the approach, isn't it?
Oh, Brian's has just taken
Has he taken a bit of a
a
bobble?
little
though?
bit. I don't know whether it's
Yeah.
because he delivered it badly.
Well, he turned away
Short,
immediately.
aye,
He's turned
short.
away very quickly. Good chance here. 17-16.
Wayne
Duncan
pumps another one in now.
leads. Pierre puts another one in now.
It becomes interesting.
That's an
Very
understatement.
interesting.
Very
And I
interesting.
think
He's better.
he's
He's got it, hasn't he?
He's bettered his first, Brian, with
Because
this
that'll
ball.
run now. Excellent.
Those are real balls on this mark.
But he's very quickly after it, Brian. He doesn't hang around, does he?
No,
Has he
it's
got it
natural.
right?
He looks too high to me, Brian.
He's turned away.
He's give this one up.
He
He's
has.
condemned it.
Unless he can remote, but that's a desperate hope. It's a 2. 2
Phillips,
to
2.
Gray. Well, Wayne Phillips. Well, this
a
has
new
been a
favourite,
tournament,
Brian.
eh? Well, I would have thought at 18-17. 2 2s, back to back. We're not going to have another shock, are we? It's the biggest of the lot. Who would be a champion in this competition, eh?
I say nothing.
You survived yesterday. No, then. coming back again.
Well, yes, as I say, Wayne will not be bothered where Brian would want it to go. He's just thinking about making his own leads. And I think the way Brian's playing, he'll be praying that Wayne doesn't lead a good ball here, because he'll be under pressure.
I thought he just hit something actually on the way there, which is strange because the green is superb.
He's a little low. He's just got underneath, but it's not that bad of a ball.
Well, Brian. Oh yes, Brian's taking the same little bump, I'm sure.
Yes, and he's on a better road. He's on a better road, Brian. This will be a good ball.
This is beyond the jack.
This is a good one.
This is on the jack, I tell you.
Yeah, that will make him happy.
So what does he do now? He's got to be far enough.
Well, he has, but he's not got to be too far as he leaves an easy 2. If we try and beat this ball with just an even-paced ball...
Gracious me, it's going to be some ball.
He's slightly over, it's well played.
He's just going to clip the back. No.
Just underneath. Good ball. Wow. Brian would want to get 2 here so he can get game at one end.
Puts him in with a chance of a final double, doesn't it? Look at this. Has he got it right?
If he gets 2,
stop.
That's a good.
That's a great end.
That was a big ball for Brian, you see.
Yes.
Because he can now get up at one end, whereas if he hadn't have coupled up, he would have had to win 2 ends.
That's right. 1918. Brian Duncan, 27 ends. Do you know, nearly 45 minutes have gone. It's gone so quickly. It's been quality. It's been tension. That's what bowls is about. Big time bowls. Changed, doesn't he? Gone for the other diagonal.
Yeah.
But he'll try and win it here. Could have gone full corners, couldn't he? But he's elected to go this way.
He's gone back to his favourite corner, I think.
What's tricky about this one?
Well, it's the pace into it, Brian. 3/4 of the way into this corner is uphill, and then it levels off and the bowls start to run. So it's not easy to get a length.
He didn't quite have it right, but Wayne looks better, doesn't he?
He's on a better road than Brian. Yes, that's a good ball.
Could be a slight difference in bowls. 212. 212. Same bowls, same maker.
Brian's not as far as his other with this.
It's not bad, is he?
I don't know whether
because it's uphill. It can't
it's
do
not
it.
going to win.
No.
Now again, it's important. Wayne, this is the difference now. Can Wayne get 2?
Giving it a chance. I think that's a better road. Well, he's got to climb up the hill, hasn't
so
he?
he's got to.
You think that's 2?
I think
Call
that's
it
2.
now.
We'll give that. All right.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Well, are we on the verge of the biggest shock of an earthquake proportion happening in bowls? Brian Duncan trails an absolute unknown. 2019. Is he going to finish it?
Brian, I didn't call it. I just said that it would be nip and tuck.
Well, the nipper's back home, young Jack, isn't it? Yeah. The boy Phillips. Well, this boy is going the distance. He's producing the big bowls today. 2019, Wayne Phillips.
The last time they played this mark, he had Brian just overplaying it, actually.
Look at this.
And Wayne's played a good ball. But Brian was too far with both bowls on the
Dad and father can't believe it. And look at them. They're more nervous than the boy out there. Good lead. Brian's not bad, is he?
He's nearly licked it.
It's not bad, but it'll run, won't it?
Gone out.
It's gone out.
Just
fall back. Right. Wow. Just wants Arthur Scoutcraft to confirm that the grey is on. Wayne Phillips is lying game as it stands. 1 ball on its way. 1 ball to play after this. This is round the back, isn't it?
Certainly going to be around. He's got 2 balls to knock off
now. Then Brian Duncan needs to know whether it's 1 or 2. It's 2, which rules out the strike, but he's got to be far enough. And he's put something in.
See, if he hits the jack, and Brian can get game as well.
Well,
if he hits the jack, Brian's
he's hit the jack. He's gone through, and Brian Duncan has produced the masterly bowl, possibly of this competition so far. It could well be for 2, and if that's the case, he's taken 1 out. Brian Duncan is waiting for the handshake. What do you think? He says to Wayne Phillips. He says that was some game.
That was brilliant.
And we say that was absolutely brilliant.
And for Wayne Phillips to turn round and smile after that, Brian, I think he's a tremendous sportsman.
That is an absolute killer, because it did look. Why? Let's have a look at this, Glenn. Look at it. You read it right. He takes the jack, pushes it through, the ball runs on.
Stop giving me these hard games to do.
Well, I think Brian's probably thought to himself, if I try and play a length ball at these.
Wonderful. 21-20. A tremendous match. Let's hear from Elton. He's with Brian Duncan.
And with the guy that Brian licked easily, Wayne Phillips. I say that very jokingly. I tell you what, Brian, we've seen some wonder bowls in the Bassmasters down the years. I think the one you played at the end then, I'm sure Wayne will agree, because you were lying game. That was some bowl, mate.
Well, it was just a chance of reaching, really. I mean, Wayne made it easier for me. I'm not saying easier for me, made the decision better when he got two, really. I thought, well, I've just got to play up for the jack now. If he hadn't got another, I would have thought probably resting the jack of the ball, but he just made the decision easier.
So it was a genuine attempt to actually trail the jack, as they say in the flat game.
That's right, because he's a bowler, we'll say, a foot at the side of the jack. He's got one on the other side as well, so to play a dead length is like a miracle ball, really, when somebody's lying up. So I thought, well, the only chance I have really is to pick the jack up.
Don't go away. Quick word with Wayne. Wonderful match, Wayne.
Yeah.
First Bassmasters. I mean, a lot of pressure, and especially playing, you know, the great man. You acquitted yourself brilliantly.
Early on, but the ball's improved a lot lately, really.
But you dug in, though.
Yeah, I thought I'd won it in the end, really. It was a good ball, that was.
Wasn't it just?
Very good.
Did you think you had it there where you were lying game, yeah?
If you play on that mark, it's very hard to hit the jack on the tight mark like that. Brilliant ball.
Well, now you know what it's like to play Brian Duncan in a major, don't you?
Yeah, I've played him before, and 3 times he's beat me now, I think.
I don't remember, actually.
Well, if I may be so bold, the way you played today, we're sure to see you again at the Bassmasters. Well done to you.
Thanks a lot. Cheers, thanks.
Oh, it's a pleasure. It's great to have you here. I tell you what, I know you don't sort of like the first round of this competition particularly, but you're never going to have a tougher one than that, are you?
No, I mean, like Wayne just said, we had some good ends and we had some scrappy ends, really. And
you were a bit loose towards the end. I think everyone around the green thought you were going to lose it. I think you dropped a couple of pairs, didn't you?
Yeah, well, I led in that corner there and played one a yard over, and then my second went further. Like, really. I just thought, here we go again. Like, but I just dig in, and you haven't lost until he's 21.
I mean, by your standards, you look quite pleased.
Well, I'm quite relieved actually that I've got through, because I look like middle of the game I looked like I'm going to win it, and then towards the end I looked like I'm going to lose it, and look what I've just scraped out of it.
The match of the Bassmasters 1996 so far. Well done to both of you. Super exhibition. Well done, Brian. We'll see you in the next round. Well, that was something, wasn't it? Super sport. And after the break, we've got a superstar from the world of show business joining us. Don't go away, will you? And welcome back, and as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, a nice warm welcome to Tommy Cannon.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, you've just seen a game of bowls there with Brian Duncan, haven't you?
What a game of bowls, I tell you. That was fantastic. What a way to finish.
Now, you're actually a golfer. That's your sport. Now, we're mighty proud of Jack Kirby's work on the green here. All the ladies and gentlemen have agreed today and yesterday. Now, let's see how it compares to a putting green.
Okay.
So, let's see
what you... a bit of a...
Yes, if you would,
match,
Tom.
okay.
Thank you.
No problem.
Just a minute.
Oh, no.
Man alive, what is this?
What do you do? How are you, Shorty? What,
look who's talking.
What are you doing here? This is not golf.
Listen, why have you come in the first place? We're talking here. This is a sensible game.
Didn't invite you. We didn't invite Tommy.
Because I've come for a game of bowls, but I can't find the pig in skickles.
There's no skickles.
There's no holes in this ball.
Don't have holes in the ball. Now get out of the way. You're not supposed to be here, right? I'm sorry about this. I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm going to stand with my small friend.
Let's see.
My goal.
Oh, man.
My goal.
Oh,
I'm going to put this in that hole.
He couldn't hit a barn door with a banjo.
Wait a minute, give me another ball. Give me another one. You think hang on. You think I'm making good? I know. Wait, no, please, I can't.
Get out of here. Give me that ball back. Get out.
Done it, there you are.
Oh, man, what a way.
Can we have a go at this? Can we have a go at it?
Go on, yeah, go on. I want a quick
then.
chat with the two of you in a minute.
Go on,
yeah,
then.
go on, let's see what
Let's
they
have
do.
one go.
What do you have to do, like? Somebody tell me.
I'll set this off.
All
have you
right,
got a ball for Tommy? There you are.
Right.
Right. What do they call this?
What have I called? Is it bias?
That's the jack. Now,
Is that the jack?
The
What,
jack.
That's the
ball
ball.
in the jack.
correct.
Right. Come on, throw it out. Let's have a bit of a bash at this.
Have you stopped wearing them dresses now?
Oh, I tell you what. I thought it was a secret.
Oh, what did you do that on now?
Never mind.
Thumb bias, thumb.
I'm
Finger.
not telling you.
Finger.
I'm not telling you,
That's
it's a secret.
Is that it, that way?
That way.
All right. Got
Stop the ball. Stop that ball.
it. You can't even throw the...
Hang on, I'm having
It's my go now, because you've lost. It's my go now. I have to throw it now. Oh, sorry, cameraman. Need some knee pads on there.
If you look close at Tommy's forehead, you'll see a makeup line. He has not washed his makeup off from last night.
But I haven't got my lipstick on today.
Right, come on, Tom. Not too hard, so we keep it on the green.
Is it my goal now, then?
Now, what did I throw that now? Thumb.
Thumb. Thumb.
Was it thumb, Matt?
Yeah.
Thumb.
Thumb.
You got it. Okay, Tom.
This will be good.
One bowl each, and then we're going to have a chat.
Got long eyelashes for a boy.
Oh, I knew this was a mistake. We only invited Tommy, you know. He's a sportsman.
Oh!
Oh, good bowl.
Bit
Just
strong,
a bit hard.
Bit strong.
Just a bit strong.
Did you do thumb?
Thumb,
Yeah.
thumb. Give it some.
Oh, I think this has won it.
Hey! Hey! Bobby! Yes!
Okay.
Yes!
Come on, Bob, let's have a quick word here. Now, listen. Hey, thanks to the two of you coming down.
Oh, you're welcome.
Seriously, now.
You're welcome.
Thanks for coming down. Now, where are we this season?
Oh, we're at the Grand Theatre in Blackpool. Got a fantastic show. It's lovely. It really is a good show. Best show we've been in for 10 years. It's a good show.
And what have the crowds been like, Bob?
It's fabulous. The great crowds. We're doing real good business. But it's a great show. Tommy's in the show. I'm not. I'm at another place. But no, we're at the Grand. It's fabulous. Absolutely fabulous.
Tell me, what is the most endearing and enduring quality of being a double actor? I mean, you've been at the top for years and years and years, you know, up on a par with the likes of Morecambe and Wise. I mean, what is it?
We just don't speak to one another. No. It's endearing quality that you grow with. We're 34 years now in the business, and you respect one another's privacy, you respect one another's ability, and nowadays it's just great fun. It's better now than it ever was.
Sounds like you're just great pals as well.
Oh, yeah,
great working partners.
Yeah. Well, since we've been here, we've in the show he comes on a motorbike. So he said, hey, let's learn to ride a motorbike. So the tower is, so me and him are trotting around Blackpool with big motorbikes with L plates on. Tower is, we're going out this afternoon together doing U-turns.
Ladies and gentlemen, Cannon and Ball.
Thank you!
Great to see you.
Thanks, mate.
Great. Right, we're going to see some more bowls now. A game played a little bit earlier. Glyn Store against K Strutt, who's been beaten twice in the final of the Bassmasters. It's 17-12 actually, to Storer. Let's see the conclusion of the game.
Single then. So, Ken, 12-17 off the mat. Certainly not out of it yet. Couple of little chalks now. If he can hang on to the block for 2 or 3 ends, he can soon rub out that 5 chalks lead that Glyn Store has got.
Yes, and I think when the draw for the competition was made, Hugh, most of the players were quite envious of Ken. They all thought that he was well drawn and would get to the semi-final. But I think quite a few of them didn't reckon without Glyn Store, a very tenacious character.
Currently the Staffordshire champion, the winner of the Staffordshire Merit, and winner of the Klondike, when he totally murdered Steve Freer in the final there, 21-6. That was a Bass qualifying tournament. Glyn really ought to count here. This is fairly easy to sneak in for one. That'll do.
Storer, 1.
That was a bad end again for the man from Diggle.
Yes, he's known in the game as Mr. Consistency, but that's exactly the thing he hasn't been this morning.
And Glyn with a nice cushion of 6 chalks. Still intent on winning winning a mark across the near the bowler's hut. You get the feeling that he's actually only practiced one mark on this green, Roy.
Yeah, I think because of his location, Glyn hasn't spent a lot of time on the green. I know that he got 4 rounds in the Talbot Championship over the last couple of weeks. But you're probably right, he won't have explored the corners and the edges and this sort of thing. But the mark he's playing is quite difficult.
That looks tidy. Reflective face of Glyn Storer as
last ball.
he gets confirmation that he is actually counting at this moment. And Ken can ill afford to drop another one here. And yet he has. That was a pretty untidy last bowl from Ken Strutt. He's a much better bowler than that bowl would let you lead you to believe.
Storer 1.
Yes, as I was saying, that was a part of the green where if you just thin the line a little bit, you think you've got it right, but it goes the other way.
Glyn Storer very much on the way home now, and surprisingly has not gone for the cross green mark, bowling just in the general area of the corner of the green below our commentary box, and that's a very tidy lead. This game of Crown Bowl is very, very much about leading well to your own block. Well, that's the 2 that Glyn Storer wants to go into the second round. Ken with 1 bowl to change the situation. It's trying for him, and it's pulled up. I think it might just have saved 1. Ken will reckon it's chalk. I reckon that it's the markers if Glyn Storer insists on 2. No, it is just the 1. So Glyn Storer all but 12 for yet another, I think, a major upset in general terms, Roy, in comparison with the champions that have gone out already for last year's Waterloo and this year's Spring Waterloo winner.
Oh yes,
to be taken out is some scalp.
A major shock indeed, yes. And Glyn's going back towards the Players' Pavilion from whence he came, and he's got another very good lead. He's played really well this morning.
He has indeed. Coming as he does from sort of deep into Staffordshire. Not too many tournaments down there for him to get involved in. It's only in very recent times that he's got the car out and driven up the M6 to have a crack at the major tournaments. Still to
just like yours, Glyn,
to make a real mark in the big league, as it were. But I think this is a young man we're going to see a lot more of. Needs 1, is counting 2. Is this the last bowl in the tournament for Ken Strutt? He's got to hit something or he's sailing out. Gone. He has gone. If that short bowl of Glyn Storer's is in, the match is over. It is. There's the handshake. Ken Strutt gives best to young Glyn Storer, and another of the star players in the great game of Crown Bowls disappears in this year's Bash as Glyn Storer beats Ken Strutt 21-12.
Welcome back. So the nearly man of the Bassmasters, K Strutt, is out. Only 2 former champions are through thus far. Glyn Cookson and Brian Duncan, an absolutely epic encounter with Wayne Phillips. We're about to see another, R Crawshaw. Now his opponent is making his first appearance, as was Wayne Phillips, here in the Bassmasters. His name is Andy Cairns. He's the youngest player in the tournament at 22, and he is, well, by far the biggest.
The young ones, darling, we're the young ones.
It's official, the flat cap image is out, and those who study the game will tell you rising young stars like 22-year-old graduate Andy Cairns are definitely in. He's already got the trophy haul of a veteran, even if he did find combining student life and bowling a little bit tricky.
Well, it was quite a strain travelling up and down the motorway. It was like 3 or 4, 5 times a week sometimes, trying to get to league games and competitions. It meant leaving them there at like 5 to get to a 7 o'clock, start. It was a big strain on me, big strain.
What did your friends think, Andy, when you were going off bowling? What did they make of this undergraduate bowler?
They thought it was a bit of a joke at first when I told them. And first week I turned up and I had to disappear after 2 days because I was playing over at Blackpool in a competition, and they thought I was joking. It was a bit of a joke game, and I showed them a video of me in the last 8 at Waterloo, and they were quietly impressed. I think they didn't really. They always asked how I went on when I got back anyway.
They could also have asked Andy's parents, Alan and Anita, who've monitored his progress closely since he started bowling 13 years ago. The headlines prove it. Those who play need no telling. Bowls has always been a game at which younger players excel.
It was David Bryant that said bowls is a young man's game that old people can play. I think that's the way you've really got to look at it. If you look at the Bass, there's not many people over the age of 55 playing. There's probably quite about 7 or 8 under the age of 30, I think. It's certainly getting younger.
And on the eve of the competition, Andy didn't seem at all worried about being this year's youngest contender. And should he add the biggest title of the lot to his collection, one thing's certain, he'll definitely enjoy it.
It'll be brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I'll be able to retire, I suppose.
Retire at the age of 22?
Yeah, it'd be great that. Wouldn't have to play another game, would I?
Well, there's big Andy weighing in at about 18 stone. Just look at the size of him. 12.5 is the foot measurement as well, so it was rather difficult to find some shoes for him this week. Certainly winning his battle against anorexia. Let's have a look at his opponent then, R Crawshaw. Got a pretty good record in the Bassmasters. Out of 10 games played, he's lost only 4. He was our champion in 1985. A bowls maker, 37 years of age, so he's got 15 years more experience than Andy. And Robert very determined this week, and that is reflected by the current score, which sees him leading by 8 chalks to 2. As we join our commentary team, Roy Armson and Hugh Johns.
Well, it's 10 chalks on the board in 8 ends. We're in the 9th now, so it's been fairly tightish. 1 for Andy Cairns. Now that's a good end to win, because that was a run of 5 chalks in a row for R Crawshaw, and he's managed to stop that little gallop. Needs to get himself back into the game now. This is his 6th Bassmasters. As Elton said, he's a former winner. Beat Brian Duncan in the final of 1985 over at the Woodlands at Ellesmere Port. Robert last year in this Bass went out in the quarterfinal to John Bancroft. He was a bit fortunate, I remember, in the second round getting past Gary Smith, who had the winning of it with right at the end, but he failed with his last bowl, and Crawshaw went through 21-20 in the second round to the quarterfinals. but he did not bowl this green at all well in his quarter-final, Roy, did he?
No, he didn't, Hugh. I think it's fair to say that Robert Crawshaw was the player of the year in '95. He won 10 competitions, and he was hopeful that he would emulate that this year, but thus far he hasn't been able to do that. He hasn't played quite as well this year. I think he maybe devoted more time to his business, his bowls business down there in Stockport. But what a good lead from Andy Cairns. Round peg up the side of the green, about 29 yards, finger peg, bias towards the ditch. Very good lead.
It's going to be underneath from Crawshaw. This is the sort of mark that I remember Tony Poole making use of in so many tournaments, holding down the edge of the green. That's a couple of fair bowls from Big Andy. That's down underneath again.
Go again.
Gone. Got both of them wrong.
Cairns, 2.
Well, let's change the picture somewhat. Andy going back from whence he came, again with a curly mark. His thumb peg with the bias again towards the ditch. And the slope of the green assists the bias, but the weight was a bit too heavy there.
Yes, I think this is not very far, Hugh. It's about 26 yards, so I don't think it's quite as far as what he intended to send the jack.
Crawshaw.
Marker Terry Ashcroft indicates that Crawshaw's on. That's over and through. Too heavy. 18 stone of bone and muscle propelling that little tiny object rather too strenuously. That'll count for 2.
Crawshaw, 2.
So a wasted opportunity for the Leeds University undergraduate. Robert on a mark now that I remember him playing very successfully last year. Got to push up over these last couple of yards because it's a bit slower there. That's a very good lead.
I think Andy will be aware of this, Hugh, because both these players are in the final day of the Talbot Championship, which takes place on this green. In other words, they've both won 6 rounds, so they've spent quite a bit of time on the green.
Well, it's Robert holding 1 and looking as though he's creeping in for 2.
And what we may see here is Andy Cairns' phenomenal striking power. I think, along with Paul Strutt, these two players are the hardest strikers in the game.
Well, we look for the signal.
A foot and 15 inch. Okay.
Yep.
Watch your feet when it comes in.
Well, he's removed some of the woodwork. Leaves 1.
Crawshaw, 1.
Leaves 1 to count for Robert Crawshaw. There's a fair bit of power on that one, Roy.
Yeah, he certainly strikes hard, and he wanted to get the 2 together, but he'll be satisfied with that. He's cut the count down.
So 11-7. Again, a thumb peg mark. Cut that one tight. Weight was good. That's a good road. Beauty. Given that one a better chance. Just out. Now, Andrew, can you remember what you did with the first one? The road was right. Left the weight behind. And he's angry with himself. So 8-11 off the mat, Andrew Cairns. Promptly heads back for the side of the green mark. Thumb peg, round peg mark. Bias towards the ditch, which will join up with the slope of the green now to bring the bowl down. Robert Crawshaw. Roy was saying earlier that last year was one of his best years. It was in fact last year that he qualified for the Bass, winning the Carlsberg Open, beating that very, very fine Yorkshire bowler, Alan Thompson. Wallop! Close. Yes. Well, well, well. That is a belter.
Yes, I think we have to warn the cameraman when Andy's about. Gets the jack right off the green, almost disappeared right into the camera lens.
Well, they were saying just now there's 18 stone of bone and muscle propelling what? A little object weighing about 2 pound 12 ounces. He could be a fair shot putter, I think, this chap, if he turned his mind to it.
Yes, indeed. Coming back on his mark now, finger peg, 28 yards, round peg. I think he's a little bit overplayed this way.
Road looks right, all about weight now. Good enough to win it. Heavy. Gone out, so chance for 2 here. Should just about make it. No, it turned away.
Looks like 2.
Yeah.
Crawshaw,
2 it is.
2.
So Robert goes out to that patch of green that he seems to favour, Roy. He likes that area over there.
He hasn't gone as far this time with the jack. He's playing finger peg just to the left-hand side of the crown. As we've said before, it is a push-up this way. He's 4 foot short with that ball, and he's coming inside, I think. No, unlucky.
Well, he's pushed the Crawshaw bowl to where Robert planned to put it in the first place. That's better. A lot of work to do for Andrew here.
Is he here?
Not going to arrive.
Crawshaw, 2.
There's a certain amount of frustration and anger being exhibited by Andrew Cairns, with himself, I have to say, with himself, which probably isn't a very good thing. He's letting that get to him, and ruffling his composure.
Yes, it is a hallmark of his game. Of course, he's only 22 years of age. I have watched him on several occasions. One occasion when he was in the semi-final of the Waterloo, and it is something that has developed in his game. I think probably, if there is a fault with his game, and it's, as I say, he's only young, he plays his second ball a bit too quickly. He's not quite sure what he needs to do.
Very narrow. Weight looks good though. Crawshaw. A useful flat green bowler as well as lawn, and it's one of the tricks of the trade that he picked up on flat green, getting what they call a wick.
Almost a chop and lie, that.
Watch, here we go again. Well, he's knocked himself out, as Andrew this time, and he's left 2 on the green, and they are both grey, and that means 2 more for Crawshaw. Wow. I'm afraid Andrew is beating himself as much as Robert Crawshaw is beating him. Robert is bowling very, very well, but Andrew is not really giving himself a real chance. Robert, a Cheshire county bowler. Andrew, North Lancs and Fylde. Comes from Rossendale.
Andrew's gone the other way in here, Hugh. Gone thumb peg.
Thumb peg.
He's got a better length this time.
Sun shining beautifully here at Blackpool. Lovely morning, what, 11:45. And a lot more cracking bowling in the Bassmasters Classic here throughout the course of the day. Still plenty of room if you're in the Blackpool area and you want an afternoon in the sun, watching a great sport played by some great players. Why not come down and join us here at the Rex Hotel? Andrew Cairns, a careworn young man at the moment, but he has managed to pick up 2 on that end.
I think his only chance now at this stage of the game is to lengthen it. I feel that Robert, the only time that Robert struggles is when players take him in the corners, but he isn't doing it. He's actually bringing him down to the faster part of the green. He's still playing these shorter lengths, about 28 yards finger peg, and it's all downhill now.
Not a bad lead at all. Lay down flat when he got there. Good weight, lovely land, fine bowl. Andrew having a look at that one from close range. Unlucky son. So Robert is counting 18-10 at this precise moment of time. If he gets a single, gets another one to add to that single, he'll feel well pleased. But he's left that one on the mat.
Crawshaw, 1.
Poor ball. 18-10 though. Robert Crawshaw leads. A pretty formidable task that young Andrew Cairns now faces. Andrew, who qualified for this tournament by winning the Bunbury Classic this year, taking out again a very experienced bowler, Alan Broadhurst, in the final. Absolutely destroyed him, 21-6. That was fine scalp.
Yes, I think, as I say, having watched Andrew, I think it's either a feast or a famine here. He's either absolutely brilliant or he's wayward.
Well, he's got plenty of years of bowls ahead of him. Only 22. Well bowled, Robert. He's holding 2. Here goes the banger again. The big hammer. Straight through the hole. So that 2 puts Robert Crawshaw within inches of a place in the second round. Andrew Cairns very, very slowly advances up to view at close range the fact that he's just dropped another 2. So all but 10. Robert Crawshaw looking good for a second round place. In the previous matches in the Bass Classic, he's only failed to get past the first round once. That was in 1986 when Glyn Cookson beat him. It's fair to say that Crawshaw could very well be one of those who will feature in the late stages of this tournament, Roy.
He was very strongly fancied at the start. A lot of people put money on him. Yes, and he was only 8-1 for the title.
Very nearly had the winner with that bowl, but Andrew is holding 1 here. So just again, he feels he might just have a chance.
What you doing, Bob?
Ooh, good job he didn't touch the jack then, because if he had, he'd have given it away. 1 for Andrew Cairns. That was a dangerous bowl, Roy.
It certainly was, yes. He had to try it, but he was just overplayed, and I think this is the thing he should have been doing a long time ago. Going a long way. Going into the heavier part of the green now. Playing finger peg. About 38 yards into this corner. Don't get below the jack.
Yes, got to believe the jack, and didn't really give the bowl, the bias on the bowl, a chance to work for him then. I think that's winning it at the moment, but not sure that's the sort of bowl you want to win a tournament. Little touch. Oh, what a lovely little bit of fat that was. Surely that would bring a smile to the face of Andrew Cairns. Yes, it did. Apologetic smile, I think.
Now see if Robert can strike.
He's put a little running in that one. It's flying past.
Cairns, 1.
Well, it's been a long time since Andrew Cairns kept the block on the mat in his control for 2 ends in a row. He's going a distance with this one.
Yes, this is a difficult mark, Hugh. He's playing thumb peg right over the crown of the green, and the jack is only just 5 feet on. But I think he's got quite a decent lead going here. No, it's shorter than I thought. It's 2 yards off.
It's underneath, but no, the blue ball I think is still closest of the two. Still an awful long way off, but this will be closer. Run another yard. That's about 2 foot, 2'6" from a distance of what, 46, 47, 48 yards. It's got some running in it. It's underneath though. Well, it's one for certain to Andrew Cairns. Yes, one it is.
One.
Well, 3 singles on the trot. Andrew goes back, thinking perhaps that he might just now have found a mark that he would have done well to exploit much earlier in the game.
Yes, he's playing finger peg here, right through the centre of the green. It's a very difficult peg, this is. It's all uphill. I think actually the other way in is the better peg. It's almost straight at the jack. But he's not too bad, about 5 feet off.
4 feet off.
Now, has that got the running? Not reaching.
You've got. That's why we're knocking. You've got to knock that a foot.
Yeah, he's going in the other way now. He's all right. He's gone through nicely, but oh, I think that's run way out.
You're unlucky to knock it in anyway. Of course, you couldn't do a peg on.
Now, Robert, can he win it with this bowl?
I think he's narrowed, Hugh. I don't think he'll count with that.
No way. No way.
Cairns, 2.
Crikey. 2. Well, a little run of 5 chalks since Andrew decided to use the big diagonal.
Yes, who knows what could have happened if he'd have tried this earlier, Hugh.
That's
but
right.
Has he sent the jack off here?
Oh, he has. Yes, he has. Oh, Andrew. And his face tells the story. He's furious with himself. Oh, dear. Well, I wouldn't mind having a very strong bet that we shall not see Robert putting the ball anywhere near this corner.
Yes, this is one of Robert's favourite pieces on the green. Thumb peg, just cutting the crown, just underneath the crown, about 27 yards.
Now, Andrew, that's going to be a fair ball. Yeah, nothing much wrong with that. Robert, you set the jack. Can you find it? No. No, Andrew, it's a wasted opportunity. So Robert Crawshaw has the match-winning ball in his hand, he thinks. Let's see. That's gone out. So
Cairns, 1.
Andrew's got another one. Would you believe it? I'm just thinking these two, when you look at them, you've got a little enlarged situation here, really, isn't you? Make up your mind which you think is the large one. Well, that's deep in the corner, Roy. That really is a distance.
Yes, that's finger peg, round peg. He's certain to reach with this bowl. That's a good lead.
Oh, what a lead. Tell you what, that's going to take some beating. Robert will be lucky to win the match on this.
Robert's gone the same way, but he's inside the line. He's going to narrow away.
You got Crawshaw, he's getting a little bit worried about this.
Well, I think if Andrew counts this end, certainly danger signals will be looming for Robert, and he will begin to feel the pressure.
He won't be far away with this, you know. It's dropped shorter than I thought. That's gone out. It's two. It's two. Yep. Well, what a remarkable situation. 10-20. Andrew was behind at the end of, what, 20 ends. And here at 26 ends, there's only 2 chalks in it.
And he's taken much more care with the placing of the jack on this occasion. There's no way he's going to send that jack off here. Playing about 42 yards, thumb peg. He's got the jack just a little bit round the corner. Mustn't get narrow here.
Now, Andrew, if you can count a couple on this end. Robert Crawshaw will be tearing his hair out. That's a fair lead, you know, from that distance. Robert Crawshaw then. The road looks good. What about the weight? Had to hit. When you think about it, Robert Crawshaw has been trying to win this game for, what, 8-10 ends? Now, Robert, have you got a winner this time? No, he slapped that mat against his hand. That's a mile away. Absolute country mile away. Well, we've got to come back and see this in a moment. You'll see the finish. Well, I think I've ever seen it. Well, certainly in this Bass Classic competition over the years. Never anything like it. This young man, Andrew Cairns, was totally destroyed. He was losing 20-10, and he hasn't stopped scoring since. 20-20.
It's a very difficult peg that he's going here, finger peg, but he's only about 5 feet off. If Robert doesn't change his peg, he's not sure to beat that ball.
Well, Robert, surely you've got to find one. He's underneath, well underneath. Well out.
All right, let's go.
Well, Robert Crawshaw has 1 bowl left if he's going to win this match. Andrew Cairns is holding a match-winning line at the moment.
And Andrew will play the same peg, play finger peg, just try and promote his own bowl here, I think.
Where's this going to start? The road looks right. I tell you what, the road looks beautiful. What? Oh, the weight. Gone out. He wanted to put extra pressure, but Robert Crawshaw to stay. He's done it wrong. It's gone way out. Absolute dreadful ball. And the young man from Rossendale, Andrew Cairns, has won this match. Wow, what about that? 11 shots in a row this boy has taken. 20-10 down he was. And he has picked it up 21-20. Amazing.
Well, if Brian Duncan's bowl to win his match was the bowl of the tournament so far, certainly the comeback of the tournament so far belongs to you, Andy. 20-10 down, staring defeat, well, into the jaws of it.
Yeah, well, I've spent him about on them short marks. He tends to put them close, and I got Jack. I thought go as far as you can, because I know he struggles a little bit on them, but he didn't place well at finish, and I just pulled a few balls out.
You really had to keep concentrating. I mean, did you ever give up?
I never give up, but I think anybody that knows me know that I get a bit excited at times, and just had to calm myself down and keep going and try and play the right balls.
Those incredible firing shots of yours, they weren't particularly accurate today, were they?
No, I think they did me more harm than good. I don't know what's up with me with them. I just can't hit out at the minute.
I thought that was your only alternative at one point, was to hit Robert with one of them.
Yeah, I like him. I don't think I'd do that.
No,
though.
I know. Listen, we're going to have a word with you, Robert, and thanks for coming out, because I mean that must have been a pretty devastating experience.
Well, they say that games are never over until the 21, but I've seen Andy play. I know that he is a very good player on this green, and we're both still involved in the Talbot competition. And I know that he can get a little bit excitable, so I was trying to play a psychological game with him and try and rush him as fast as I could right throughout the game, because I know what a nervous experience he'll be having on TV for the first time. And I thought my plan had worked. When I was 20,
I think everyone did, Robert,
well,
to be honest, at 2010.
And at 2010, I thought I'd broken him, and I probably relaxed that little bit too much and lost my concentration myself. And Andy got hold of the jack, and then I couldn't do anything about it then. I tried to pick myself up, but I just
I mean, I can't really put this kindly. You actually played some wretched bowls towards the end.
Probably a bit worse than that, Elton.
Fair comment.
Well, that's the way it goes. It's the same old story. The game's never over until you've got 21.
And another former champion out. I mean, it's extraordinary, isn't it, really?
Yes, it's been quite an incredible couple of days so far. You know, Brian was very nearly on his way out, and he pulled a bowl and a half out there the last end. You know, it's one of those weeks where, I think the bookies are being taken to the cleaners at the moment if everyone's backing the outsiders.
Okay, thanks very much indeed. Last word with you, Andy. I was talking to Brian Duncan at one point when you were sort of way behind, and he said you've got as many chalks as the number of pints you consumed last night.
That sounds about right, yeah. I'm not sure when I'm playing tomorrow, but I'm supposed to be going to Burnley, first home game at season. I might have to miss that now with this. It'd be worth it for £200 though, I think.
I was going to say, I think you're better off here at the race, don't you?
Probably.
Better off in Blackpool than Burnley. That would take some swallowing, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, it was a nice consolation if I'd have got licked like, but I can miss it for a day, I think.
We'll look forward to seeing you again, and we'll see you again, Robert, but it won't be this year. Thanks for being with us. Thanks for coming out and talking. Cheers. One to you, Andy. Right, we're going to get right up to date now in the first round. Andrew White against David Walker. Now, David Walker really almost in danger of whitewashing his opponent. 17-6 is the score as we join our commentators, Roy and Brian.
And finish it maybe at 17-6. He's looking to settle into his normal game.
I think he's gone here, Brian, to just go back on the mark. I don't think he's going to go anywhere else. I think he's going to, if he gets in,
across,
I think he'll come back across. He's not going to risk anything. He's not going anywhere else other than the mark that he's done all his scoring on.
That really didn't do the business at all there for David, rather for Andrew. David, much tighter line, and should now work and swing and peg if he's got some running. Oh, it's enough for two, we would think. Andrew needs to be of a much tighter line. Looks better if he's got the running. Negotiate a way through past the short bowl and now peg. He tried. Looks close. Walker might even be looking for two.
It's the one.
Oh, he's settling for one. Picks up his second bowl. Yep.
Walker,
and Andrew
one.
readily agrees. Another single. David Walker in grey leads, and over the super green here at the Riggs Hall. Blue sky. A little bit of patchy cloud, that's all. 19 ends gone. 18-6. David Walker's advantage. Yep, he's sticking to it, Roy, isn't he?
Yes, he's merciless. He's actually overplayed this ball. This is the first time he's been that far off. He's given Andrew a real chance now. He's gone 5 feet past the jack.
Strange, because he's been very, very precise this morning.
5 feet through.
Easily 5 feet through, yes. This is better. And still beatable. Now then, David Walker stays on the mat a long time, now moves off. Peers right across the green. Can he work a way through? No. No. Andrew White at last certainly holding one. Chance for two. 6 points scored off them. 2 came in a double. Now then the other way around. Safety. Swinging now towards the jack. Needs more running. I think he's missed out.
Yes, I don't know why he did that, actually. He could have just played a tighter line and played on his own ball. A wasted opportunity, really.
He'll want to stand behind the jack to weigh these two up, but I would have thought only one, yes.
White 1.
At last he's changing it completely now. I think this is the last chance. He's going for a much longer length. Not quite in the corners, but around about 40 yards. Finger peg below the crown. The thing about this mark is not to get too low. If you get too low here, it won't come.
Well, it's a mark that shouldn't trouble Walker. Just caught a little bit of a bump there. Oh dear me. Miles off. He's done it, Roy, hasn't he?
He's fallen in the trap.
His own trap, yeah.
Mustn't get below here.
No, David's learned from that, I think.
That's right.
If he's got the running, this looks a very useful delivery. Yes, even then he pulls up maybe 2.5 feet short.
A small yard.
Yeah, small yard from Wigan, 2.5. Now then, Andrew White, run on this shot. Yeah, good ball. Difficult to beat now, Roy.
Yes, that's very well repaired, that, from Andrew, because he was a long way off. Yes,
that's
it's
about 15 inch off.
I think David will try and play through. He's got to risk hitting his own, but he's got plenty of chalks in hand. 2 yard through onto that shot ball.
Yes, his own ball there, the grey disc, could be of nuisance value. He could even promote it. Now then, there's more running in the ball, and he's asking it to work, and it's doing its best for him. Doing its best. Look at this. That is excellent bowling. David Walker. Oh, there are ones and ones. That's a beautiful single. 19-7, David Walker. Not a lot that Andrew White can do about this. He's actually put Walker into the position to exploit the corners if he wishes, but Walker said no. I'm quite happy to go back where I got all my points.
He's played extremely well, you know, David. And if you think about it, he's only played about 2 bad ends in the whole course of the game. This might be another one.
I think probably the going does suit him, Roy, doesn't it? Because it is considerably slower than yesterday.
Oh yes, no doubt about it. You've got to push the balls up to the jack today, whereas yesterday you had to be a little bit gentle. Got to be there today before it starts to run. This will win it.
This is a good ball. So 19-7, Walker double away, place in the second round. Needs a good yard at his first bowl. Needs to pick the jack up and stop. I think that's won it. The connection was right. We'll just wait for the referee, David Fishwick from Wigan. I'm not sure, just wants to have a look all round.
Everyone favourite there, David? Your favourite?
Really? That's interesting. He fancies the blue ball. David, not so sure about it. Now then, is the running in this bowl, sort it all out. Ideally, just nudge his own forward, sail through if he can. It's made a difference. Now that's certainly one. He's turned it over, so it must be closer still. Certainly one, readily agreed by Walker.
White,
yes.
Two.
So 9-19 off the mat, Andrew White against David Walker, and again moving towards the corner.
Andrew's playing straight peg here. He certainly sent the ball hard enough because he knows this is the heavy corner. He's just a bit below the jack, I think.
It's good length, wasn't it? It did pull up rather abruptly. Well, Walker can learn from this. Now then, into the heavy part of the green. Brakes on if you can, but it's gone through and out. Oh, Andrew White.
Only half a yard, really.
Line is different. Length is probably about the same. Good bowl. Now then, Walker. Same bowl. Needs to be far enough. Needs now to try and climb and work. Oh, it's trying hard for him. Nope. Another single.
White, one.
Double figures, that the consolation and maybe the encouragement, Roy. It always seems a bit better, doesn't it, when you go to 10?
Yeah, I think all that will be going through Andrew's mind now is trying to make the score a little more respectable, get 1 or 2 more chalks, make it look better in the evening papers.
We've seen 1 or 2 turnaround, but I mean, those have been from halfway, haven't they, where it's been something like 9-0, 11-2, and from that stage you've got a bit of time, but at 19-10 against you.
Yes, I think the biggest one we've seen so far, Brian, is the 18-11 that Tommy Johnston was in front.
Well, we're not far off that, I suppose, if he wins this end.
Good morning.
But he's now playing the Walker game. Look at this. This is why it's the Walker game. That's a superb body. Think distance there, Roy. What, 40?
Oh, yes, it's 42 yards.
42 yards.
He's making Andrew play up here.
This, and then suddenly he puts the bowl an inch off the jack. Andrew trying. It's a good line, this. Good length. Might just sail through. Unlucky. Walker. 19-10, holding 1, wanting another single. He's dominated this game. We're into the 24th end. He's looking for a winner to take him into the second round. He gets it. A superb double from David Walker, and it's gone on all through the game. Relentless. He wins. David Walker wins the All-Manchester match against Andrew White. David Walker 21, Andrew White 10.
Well, that was almost an anticlimax, wasn't it, after all the drama we've had here in the first session of day 2 of the 1996 Bassmasters. That's how the second round draw actually maps out. A couple of games still to go in the first round, but notice the 2 great heroes of today who provide us with such wonderful entertainment. Brian Duncan and Andy Cairns, they play each other. Right, Roy's joined us for the last few seconds of this transmission. Have we ever seen a more dramatic morning, Roy, in the history of this tournament? I can't recall it.
No, 2010, Andy Cairns and Brian Duncan coming within that of losing the game. It's been really exciting this morning.
Tell you what, Andy Cairns, that was some performance. The biggest comeback. We can't recall a greater comeback, certainly at that stage of the game, in the history of the Bassmasters, which goes back to 1982. More riveting bowls to come at 2:20 this afternoon. Do join us. Welcome back to the Rakes Hall Hotel, where we're still recovering from an absolutely enthralling first session. We saw the hallmark of a true champion. Great's an overused word in sport, but it certainly applies to Brian Duncan. At greenside, they thought it was all over. Duncan with 1 bowl to play and only 1 option with Wayne Phillips lying match. Abracadabra time.
If he hits the jack, Brian's
He's hit
game.
the jack, he's gone through, and Brian Duncan has produced the masterly bowl possibly of this competition so far. That was absolutely brilliant.
Now, if you thought that was great, there was even greater to come. The most remarkable comeback in the history of the tournament. Andy Cairns was 20 chalks to 10 down against Robert Crawshaw. Astonishingly, 8 ends later, Crawshaw, like Duncan, had 1 bowl to win it or lose it.
Robert Crawshaw. to stay. He's done it wrong. It's gone way, way out. Absolute dreadful bowl. And the young man from Rossendale, Andrew Cairns, has won this match. Wow, what about that?
Well, they say it's never over until the fat lady sings. In this particular case, Andy Cairns. Well, let's have a look at the second round draw as it maps out. Kerry Morris against Dave McDermott. That game actually has just finished, and it's Dave McDermott from the Wirral who's got through, the first man into the quarterfinals. Stan Frith against J Hodson will be on very, very shortly. Boone against Paul Strutt, another mighty striker, a little bit like Andy Cairns. Karen Johnston, the wife of Tommy, who won here 12 months ago. She's still there. Tommy isn't, of course. She plays Glyn Cookson. Carl Armitage against Lynn Pritchett, and Walker Storer. Brian Duncan against Andy Cairns, the two heroes from this morning. What an absolutely titanic battle that's going to be. And Bob Hitchin against David Marshall, the two last qualifiers from the first round. They meet in the last of the second round matches. Right, now, the great man, or one of the great men of Crown Green Bowls, undoubtedly Stan Frith. No one will ever equal what Stan did in 1983. He won all 3 majors in one season, an absolutely astonishing achievement, but he has never won the Bass Masters. Bowls is his life, but he has a very interesting and relaxing way of enjoying himself away from the green, as Mike Sadler found out.
He's one of the best known faces in the game, and not a bad player either. But when we went to see him, winning trophies was the last thing Stan Frith was thinking of. No bowls today.
In the summer, I think fishing's a bit like golf and bowls. It's a sun on the back game, or a sun on the back sport, and I really enjoy it.
And not only does he enjoy it, it won't surprise you to learn that Stan's a pretty handy fisherman. He caught a couple of bream just for the cameras. That's for fun though. The serious stuff takes place this weekend. He's landed just about every top honour in the world of bowls, except of course the Bassmasters.
I still enjoy the game, but I think probably over the years I've played for so long that maybe I've travelled too far and played too much bowls for too long, so I have cut back, and consequently I'm enjoying it. And so it's a bonus really to qualify for the Bassmasters after an absence of about 2 years, I think.
So what would it mean to you, Stan, to win the one that got away?
Oh, it would be marvellous. It would be a marvellous feeling, because over the years obviously I've been quite successful, and as you say, this is the one that's always, I've not quite got there.
Well, despite his laid-back preparations, you can guarantee Stan will be doing his utmost not to let it slip away this time around.
Well, with all the former champions who have gone out of this tournament, there are only 2 left, of course, Glyn Cookson and Brian Duncan. Maybe it could well be Stan's year to win the Bass Masters. Maybe 1996 is going to be a lucky year for him. It's the very start of the match. Stan laying the block. He beat Lillian Slinger 21-15 in the first round. It wasn't easy for him by any means. And his opponent is J Hodson, a debutant and relatively unknown before this week. And he was the man who beat the first of the former champions to crash out of this year's Bass Masters, the 87 winner Chris MacDonald. So we're going to see all of this match, unless it really does overrun. But even if it does, don't panic, because we are back today at 5:10 after this hour-long session here at the Rex Hall Hotel in Blackpool. So there you go, that's the scene set. Stan the man against J Hodson, the commentators Brian Brett, and good afternoon first of all to Hugh Johns.
Thank you, Arden, and a good afternoon to all of you in the Rex Hall Hotel Green, bathed in sunshine. Another lovely day in Blackpool, and Stan the man has got that toucher, and Hudson misses it with a strike. So Stan Frith has started off the second round match with a single. Brian Brett alongside me. Brian, where's your money going on this one?
Well, I hesitate to do anything against John Hudson. I think Stan Frith certainly has got the experience, and possibly he knows this green better, and he knows the occasion, of course. But John did so well in his first game against Chris MacDonald, putting out one of the former champions. Hugh, it's very, very tight.
Yes, indeed it is. Stan left that one on the mat. This is his 8th attempt at winning the Bass Masters. His first back in 1984. He went out in the first round. And the last time he was in the Bass, he went out in the first round to Nick Skidmore. 93 that was. He's reached 3 semi-finals, in fact, Stan Frith, in the Bass Masters. 89, got beaten by Martin Gilpin. 91, beaten by John Bancroft, and 92, beaten by Tommy Johnston. So Stan, who is, as Elton was rightly saying just now, has won
stands, John.
just about everything in the game of crown bowls, has still to put this one in his pocket.
Just favour yours, yeah.
Not sure about this, Hugh, are they? May ask for a measure.
It's all down to John Hodson there.
Pegs, please.
Yeah, pegs he wants.
You find out, John.
The suggestion is that there is a slight fancy for the blue disc bowl. I'm not so sure. Got David Fishwick and Peter Lawn coming out to sort it out.
Yes. Arthur Scarcroft's got a good eye. And if you can't sort them, then it's got to be pegs.
Now. Thank you.
Can we see daylight? Blueberry tight.
That's the blue bowl it is. Another single to Stan Frith. Talking about the things that Stan has won. He Cheshire Merit 3 times, All England twice, Waterloo, Champion of Champions twice, Crown King twice, the Talbot, you name it, he's been there, got the T-shirt.
I think what would particularly please him would be the qualification for the Bass, Hugh, because that was the Patrick Croft event, which is the last of the famous 41-ups. He has to have some stamina to win that. They go on for a long time, those games. Pushed all the way by Alan Broadhurst before winning 41-38.
Good bowl, John Hodson. Turning away well underneath. So John Hodson's going to get on the score sheet now. Turned his bowl over. And thumb peg here. But hadn't got enough legs. John Hodson from Uchhool near Preston. 29 years old, North Lancs and Fylde county bowler. And not one of the names that readily comes to mind when you talk about crown bowls in this part of the world. The Briggs Priestley Classic, which he won to qualify for this tournament, beating Peter Fielding, I suppose is just about the biggest thing he's ever won.
And that was going into Yorkshire, of course, to Hillcrest, Halifax, and there were 2 Lancastrians in the final. I always remember him for going quite a long way in the Waterloo, a last 8 player, a very difficult player to shift. You know, you wouldn't pick him in a draw. You'd want to avoid him.
think he's just about on again. Yes. Downhill there now. Hit his own ball. And, so John Hudson scores another single. So 4 ends of bowls played and 4 shots on the board, shared evenly. Now John Hodson halving the green. Ball seems to be travelling. It's definitely going to make the distance. John Hodson certainly has put a little bit more in this than he did in his first one. The road looks very good. Just about won it, I would say.
Nice saver, John.
Needs to peg quite a bit. No, that's the counting bowl is the grey one, I think.
Hudson.
Yes, it is. So John Hudson takes the lead, 3-2. We'll take the opportunity to nip away for a quick break. We'll be back with more live bowls from the Rakes Hotel in just a moment. Hi there. Well, since you've been away, we've had 2 ends of bowls. 2 singles have been scored, 1 by each bowler, which leaves John Hodson in front 4-3. Just easing his second bowl up tight on the block. That's a cracker. And Stan Frith, very great deal to do to change that situation.
Hudson, 2.
Though he should have saved one, I suppose. So the first double of this second round match gives John Hodson a 6-3 advantage, and he's now on a mark halving the green from the bowls hut across to the covered stand. This is a very difficult mark to master. Well, couldn't have done it better, could he? Set the block out, and the bowl following exactly the path of the block. Of course, the block is the jack, or the block is biased in the same way as the bowl is.
Give him up, John.
So John, he's got the same road. No, it's slightly underneath. Yes, it's narrow and away underneath. Frith will need something pretty special to pinch this one. He's got the distance. He's got the shot. What a beauty. That's the quality of this man, Stan Frith. Great single. Everything against him there.
Interesting to see where he goes here. The tactics so far have been Frith, who normally fancies the 30-34 yard mark, has been going corner to corner, where he's been outgunned by Hudson. Hudson himself has played the shorter game. He was being offered at 5-4 a couple of ends ago and 7-4 on Frith. It might just have swung a little bit since.
Yeah, a bit of a hop with that bowl. The bowlers have been saying that the 1 or 2 moments of the bowl's hopping, but the hop that bowl took on its travel didn't affect it too much. It's a very good lead indeed. unlucky. He needed to rest on the blue bowl. Needs to peg quite a lot and run a lot more too. Nope. Counting just one.
That's what he wanted. No, Hugh. He's just waiting for confirmation of that. The option is of a strike.
I think it's given up.
Striking.
Right.
So J Hodson lets one go. Got it.
I'm not sure he went for the jack, Hugh. I think he might have gone for the wood.
To Scoutcroft as well.
Well, there's an extra point for that.
Really blasted that one into the hoarding, didn't he?
Terrific.
Look at this.
As I say, I'm not sure that he went for the jack, but it doesn't matter. Clipped it right off the green.
Well, well. So Stan denied his shot there, which I'm sure will perhaps have upset his wife Wendy. I wonder what she's talking about with Mike Sadler down at greenside.
Wendy, 4-6 down. What are your thoughts at this point?
I don't know. You'll just keep going and hope for the best.
Are you still the person who gets nervous, Wendy?
A bit on this type of occasion. I don't normally bother, but I do when it's something special like this.
And what about Stan? He doesn't look at the nervous type to me.
No. Well, he will be sort of, but I don't think he'll let it bother him too much.
Now, I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing, but I think quite a few people are backing Stan to win it this year.
Oh, I know, yeah. He doesn't normally bother, though, backing himself, but, well, we'll see how things go.
Have you had a flutter?
No. Just leave that to Stan.
We shall see then.
Yes.
Wendy, thanks for talking to us.
All right, thank you.
Back to you, Hugh.
Thanks, Mike. Well, Wendy, of course, goes through traumas fairly regularly, not only with Stan, but with daughter Julie, who's a member of the Owley Wood Lady Owls Bowls Club. Always one member of the family to worry about. Are they going to win? Are they going to do the business?
Yes or no?
Worried now that this could be not quite the result he was aiming for. He certainly wants to take that one out. Might be a measure.
Pegs, please. Yes.
They don't gallop across, do they?
Well, they don't want to panic anybody. It might be a rush for the exit if they started showing anything more than a sort of respectful pedestrian sort of wanderer. They probably think they're on the promenade.
Yes, it seems to me that there are many times that they could be starting on their...
Just one stand.
Well, they could
course
possibly
before they're actually
anticipate
set for.
Yeah.
One for Stan the Man. 5-6 he trails as he sets this next mark.
Well, if we wanted to quicken up the game, I suppose we could spread them around the green, the measures. But I saw an incident in a football match this season where stretcher bearers appeared from four corners of the pitch and all descended on the same poor victim for what was sorted out.
Well, could do with a stretcher bearer to carry that ball closer to the jack. That was a bad one from Stan.
Not even on nodding distance.
That's very narrow.
Big push up there, isn't it, Hugh? And unless they get it right, they're going to finish up trapped and caught well short.
And of course, in addition to that, if you push it up too hard and go past the jack, it's downhill after that. You wind up in the ditch.
Jack is not placed quite where he wanted it. Further.
He's further. But no.
He needed that.
Oh yes, needed to hit something.
But what has it done? given him two.
Very well given him two, it has.
Yes.
And his second one was about 12 feet away.
I think a feature of the games so far, Hugh, being that over the first half of games, they've been sort of feeling each other out. They've been trying to get over a little bit of nervous tension. And then the second half of games have been invariably of a very high quality.
I'm just wondering whether Stan has given up some of the superstitions that he used to have.
Oh, yes.
He's been a bowler since he joined ICI back in 1954 at the age of 16. He started playing at his lunch breaks, and he had a whole flock of superstitions at one time. There was no watch on his wrist, no cash in his pockets. He had an old blue and white check duster which stuck out of his back pocket.
Yes.
But he's got no watch on, and I can't tell whether he's got any money in his pockets. But I can't see the old duster.
Be better send for them rapidly, I think. Just gone through it.
John Hudson has, as far as we know, no superstitions. He just does it with the bowls. He did it brilliantly to beat Chris MacDonald. And he's looking pretty tidy here. That's one good and one bad bowl. But the good bowl is, oh gosh, it's a hard one to beat. And the Stan's just slid past it. So that's another
Hudson,
single to
one.
John Hudson. They're making it hard to score, each of them. We've had 12 ends of bowls, 14 points scored, and there's only been, let me see, two doubles. John Hudson had them both.
Suggests they're not leading well. And as people have said in the competition, it's all about leading well. It's all about a run with the jack. Just getting the jack where you want it, getting the lead where you want it. A bit like that. Stand something to beat.
That was a nice, tidy bowl from Stan. Now, John. He's got the legs to take the block. Oh, unlucky.
Stan's got to be careful here, Hugh.
Turned his bowl over. Very wise. Coming in underneath, and if he'd hit that any farther, he might just have given the shot away. He's got one, that's for certain. John is not giving anything else away at this moment.
Just one, I think, Stan.
Yes, one for Stan Frith. So with the score of 6-9, we're going to take another short break, but we'll be back with more live action from this game in just a moment. Well, the blue skies, the sun's still shining. Stan Frith has scored 3 chalks since you were away, 2 ends, and the score therefore is 9-9. But fair to say that Stan Frith has not yet put his game together with real conviction. John Hudson is well up with him. He's in a great chance here of toppling yet another of the Crown Green greats out of this tournament. Not going to arrive. Stan is chasing after it, but well, I say it's not going to arrive. It's counting bowl, of course, at this moment. In fact, I think he's got 2 counting bowls, but the distance away from the target should allow John Hudson to get in there, but I don't think he's going to get there either.
Frith, one.
Yep. One more to Stan Frith. 10-9 he leads. A run of 5 chalks.
Without bowling particularly well, Hugh, neither of them appear to be in top gear. I wonder whether Stan's going to change things. He's been going full corners, and to be fair, he's not really played them all that well. They're each leaving daylight. But he's sticking at it. Jack will just pull up a little shorter than he's been sending it.
He's certainly had success on this green. He won the Talbot here in 1990. And now that's more like it. That's a lead. Hudson has cut that one very fine. Stan's major difficulty in this match so far has been to get consistency, get 2 bowls on the same road.
He's certainly not happy with his game. He's repeatedly slapping his thigh and doing the old pantomime stuff and whatever else, but good chance here for Hudson still getting. He wants to know if it's 1 or 2 against him. Difficult to say.
I was going to say, from here it looks like 1
Only
only.
fancy 1, John.
Yes. And down there Arthur Scarscroft only fancies 1.
So the strike option is there if he wants it. He's got it. He bounced it out.
Oh, that really did bobble around. Totally lost its way. Stan scratches his head and wonders whether it's worth having the pegs out.
Yes, maybe, you know, when we take the winning bowl out, I'll get a clearer picture then.
Thank you. Cheers. Pardon?
Just say
pegs they want, pegs they want. And they have to go into the hut to find everybody.
I think he's settled for the 1 here.
Oh, he has, yes.
Good job he didn't shout.
11-9.
Sticking to this corner mark, isn't he? I mean, he's going to have to start playing it well soon. Although he's picking points up, you see.
Finger peg. Distance of what? 2, 3, 4, 5. Getting on for nearly 50 yards.
Yes, we are about 10 yards off the 62. That is a good lead.
Now, let's see if Stan can join up with his first one. Drop down now. Now I'd hit a little ridge, straightened up, wouldn't come back. It's counting 2 at this moment. He's not going to peg in.
Has he saved?
1, Stan?
Yep.
Yes, it's just about saved 1. Although Stan is looking reflectively as though he feels that perhaps it might be as well to have the pegs out.
Yes.
1 it is.
Frith,
1 it is. Well, 12-9 means that Stan Frith is on the home straight now. And once again he goes corner to corner. The full diagonal of this green here at the Rakes Hall Hotel is about 57 yards, so you can judge for yourself the distance that they're bowling at. The block about 2.5, maybe 3 yards from the corner, and the footer about the same in from the other corner.
all right, John.
Good lead ball from Frith, but Hudson's game just seems to have gone off over the last 5 ends, 6 ends.
Weight looks about right. Just about on a length, I would have said. That hit a couple of bobbles on the way up, which will take some of the running out of it. And so, Stan Frith scores another double, takes a 14-9 lead. Big audience here watching with rapt attention, and one young man who's watching with more attention than most, I think, is Dave McDermott, who will play the winner of this tournament in the next round. He's down there talking with Mike Sadler.
Dave, Stan Frith 14-9 up. Is that good news for you or bad?
I don't know. I wouldn't like to play either of them, really. I'm hoping for a bye. But, no, look, Stan looks favourite now. I mean, he's got this. He got hold of the jack. He's putting good leads up, and he's putting John under some pressure.
Yeah, John started well, but a lot of people, the punters are backing Stan. Do you think that's clever money?
Yeah, I think Stan started off slight favourite, especially the way he played yesterday. I mean, he played really well yesterday. John, I feel sorry for John, really, because he played really well at the start of the game. You know, he had some good bowls beat, but wasn't to be. Stan's beaten him, and he's got all that jack, and so he's putting leads up and putting John under pressure.
A word on your performance. It looked comfortable, but I don't suppose it felt that way.
No, it wasn't comfortable, really. I mean, on this green, you just need to have a run with the jack and start putting your leads up, really. Unfortunately enough, Kerry struggled for a length. I mean, I was saying yesterday it's gone 3 or 4 yards quicker, but today it's gone, you know, 3 or 4 yards heavier. So I've just got hold of that jack and just put, you know, lead bowls thereabouts, put Kerry under pressure.
We shall see you play. Looks like it might be Stan.
Yeah, Stan. Yeah, I mean, Stan's a hell of a player. He won everything that there is to be won in the game. So yeah, I'm the underdog, but I've been the last 3 games, so and I've won. Can't complain.
Dave, thanks for talking to us.
Thank you.
Back to you, Hugh.
Well, thanks, Mike. And that little run of Stan Frith has ended. 10 shorts. Stan put away neatly, but now a double for John Hodson. And Stan's run gives Hodson 11 against the 14 that Stan Frith has chalked up. Now, what sort of a lead will John Hodson produce for what is now a very, very curly mark? This is a sort of round peg mark, finger peg, with the crowd now turning the bowl with its bias down towards the block.
You'd have thought this was a Frith mark here. I'm not be worried by this one. It's a fair lead then.
And I think he's beaten it.
Just the running.
No, he hasn't.
It's quick, isn't it, off there?
It is. It's
just off the crown.
Yeah.
Just might get away with this now, John, and then we have a different game. Just undercooked this one, should.
Yes, there was another yard of running at least needed there. Stan needing to take what? About 10 inches of running off the first bowl. It's taken too much off, I think. Yep.
He's got away with it.
Hudson, 1.
12 then with that single for John Hodson. 14 to Stan Frith.
Having a long think about where he can go from here. He's really reduced his options by the position on the green. He's found the matting.
As John Hodson puts this ball up towards the main tent, we can have a word from Elton and Roy, who are down greenside, and getting a closer view of the bowls as they travel.
Yeah, we've got the worm's eye view, Hugh. What about that for a lead, Roy? Not quite spot on, is it?
No, I think what John's trying to do, he's trying to simplify the game now. Stan's had a long run in his favourite corners. Just playing about 27 yards with a downhill finish. But here's Stan, look at that. Absolutely perfect, isn't it? Absolute dead length. John's got to just play the same ball again. If he brings the jack through, he can get 2. He's got to run. He's short, you know. He's left it.
Actually, when they were playing in the corners, playing what, 48-yard mark, I mean, Stan was on cruise control because he was a little way behind in the match, but got himself back in front, and the body language which Hugh was referring to, and quite rightly, didn't look right. Now it's beginning to look a little bit more confident, isn't it? I mean, look at him, he's striding now, he's looking at it and he thinks he's got 2.
Yes, I've seen that look so many times when he's been playing for our county team in Cheshire with over 100 performances in that team. It's a look of steely determination. He's going back for his favourite corners now, and I think he wants to get this match over with now as quickly as possible. And once he gets in these corners, it's very difficult to shift.
Right from where they're going now, Hugh, the worm's eye view is not as preferable as yours in the crow's nest.
Yes, exactly. We can look down on that one. But I was just thinking to myself that Stan retired now, of course, but was previously an analytical microchemist, research and technology with ICI. And there's a great deal of analytical research about the way Stan Frith goes about his game of bowls. He researches greens, he analyses them. He knows all the little pitfalls of a green when he goes out there. It's beginning to show now.
You're short 2 foot 6.
It took him off a mark that he was enjoying, and he sussed this one out. He won it. Now he's aiming to get back in the corners again.
Run away. That's won it, John.
John Hudson knows he's down on this end. A difficult mark to face up to, because if he's too strong, goes past the block, he'll wind up in the ditch. Hey, he's got it dead right. Beauty. Well bowled, John Hudson. Now, 13-16 off the mat. John Hudson. Where does he decide to take Stan Frith now?
Having a look along an edge. This won't trouble Frith.
I was just going to say, this is a very brave mark.
Well, he's just got to bowl well, I suppose, Hugh.
Because these are the sort of marks that I've seen Stan produce absolute humdingers. If the lead is not all that brilliant,
I don't think
and it's not. No, Stan wouldn't mind betting that this is within a foot. Thank you, Stan.
Wherever he's taken him, really, I suppose Stan's matched it and beaten it.
Oh, what a good hit. Very good hit. So Stan's got to do it again.
Ball, John.
Oh, it's certainly got the legs.
So again.
Ah, good hit, but didn't hit it the right direction, I'm afraid. I think that grey bowl is still counting.
Hudson, 1.
Yes, 1. 14-16. John Hudson very wisely decided not to try that mark again. Coming straight out down towards the corner of the green where our commentary box is perched. Oh, that's not going to arrive. It's not a lead that's going to put pressure on Stan Frith. Just about 18 inches through, I suppose, for a length. So Now that's a better bowl from J Hodson. And that's going to win it. And that's a very, very good winning bowl.
Only one against him. Will he strike?
Now Stan has decided to knock this one off. So the weight bowl, it's controlled weight. It's not a big strike, but it's a controlled weight and it's spot on the target. Now, is the ditch going to accept it? Because if it doesn't, yes it does. That's a dead end. If it had stayed on, J Hodson would have counted. So they've got to start that end all over again.
Well, after what we've seen today, absolutely no predictions. There's still a way to go in this one. If your tea time is 5:10, you might consider slipping into the microwave at 5:10, because we're back at 5:10 for half an hour. You'll have to see how this game finishes then. Bye-bye. Welcome back to the Rakes Hall Hotel for the final session of what's been a remarkable day. The best many of us can remember, and for some others, that's going back to 1982. Now, to complete the story, the completion of the match we left earlier. It was going Stan Frith's way against J Hodson, and so it continued. 1917 to Stan the man, but John has just nicked the block. You'll remember he was the man who caused the first major surprise of this year's tournament by beating Chris MacDonald, the 87 champion. So John, in with a fighting chance. He's a gutsy chap as we join Brian Brett and Hugh Johns.
That's a fair lead. It's a ball that's in Stan Frith's eye line if it's nothing else. Nope. Enthusiastic support for J Hodson. One corner of the arena here.
Yes, the betting corner. I think one or two reasonable ones have been struck there. Yeah. He suddenly started bowling a bit better.
Yes, he has indeed.
Big end really, isn't it? If he can count two here, well.
Can this do it? Yes, no.
The two.
Looks like it. Looks like it. We'll wait for Stan to come up and confirm it.
Hudson, 2.
Yes, it is 2. 19 across. Oh, what a remarkable recovery this is by J Hodson. Stan Frith putting a run of 10 chalks together at one point. Had a 5 shots advantage at 14-9. He's only scored 5 since then, while J Hodson scored 10.
Well, this is a gamble. He's stuck it precariously close, really, because it's fast running down there. It's a yard and a half, 2 yards off the ditch.
That might still be enough to win this.
Yes, that could be a good ball.
The road on this is good. It's all about weight now. It's given up.
Who's on? I think the grey.
The grey ball is on.
They must ask before the referee will give them any advice.
J Hodson taking a big walkabout to get an angle to view it.
I think he's just made his own mind up, just confirmed that he is on.
Will he change his hand, I wonder?
He had a little think about that here.
Yeah.
He's turned over, he's going straight for the jack. I think he might be a little too low. Oh dear, must stay, must stay.
He's going to be all right.
He's holding them, isn't he?
I think he's holding 2.
I think so.
In which case he's holding a match-winning lie.
Hello?
Stan. I think that's going to pinch it. I think that's going to pinch it. Well, if it doesn't pinch it, it definitely isn't 2.
It's 1 against 1.
Can I take one out, John? The grey one. Thank you.
Measure short, isn't it?
Hudson,
Giving it.
1-2. John Hodson. So John Hodson, all but 19. Oh, that's a remarkable situation. A big buzz around this green, and part of it is because there was a little ripple of thunder and everybody was peering up to see if the skies were about to open. But more, the buzz is about the remarkable comeback that John Hudson has got, and he's got a cracking lead bowl there. I tell you what, that could win the match for him.
Last 4 ends, Hugh, has been a different player.
Absolutely.
Pressure all on Stanford. Not right.
It's not coming back. No way. Stan's got 1 bowl left to stay in the tournament.
That looked short from the moment he left his hands. He put
It's not a bad bowl. It's right smack in the road.
It's a bobby. Yeah.
Smack in the road.
Well,
he can't use weight now, I don't think, Stan Frith.
Got to surely go the other way. He's going with weight. Can't fall. Can't do it.
It's all over. Well, yet another big scalp has been taken by a relatively little-known bowler. John Hudson takes out the great Stan Frith, the man who's won it all, who's been everywhere, takes him out on a tremendous fight back, 21-19.
Roy, the major rookie there, John Hodson, was telling me afterwards that he was so delighted with the way he played the last 2 ends, turning his peg round on the penultimate end and then putting a blocker in at the end. I mean, people like Brian Duncan would have been proud of that.
Yeah, the old professionals used to say you should finish well, and that's exactly what he did.
Yeah, well done to him. Anyway, we saw a piece of history today, didn't we? The biggest comeback we've ever witnessed in the Bassmasters. Andy Cairns, 20-10 down against Robert Crawshaw, and then scoring 11 straight chalks to win it. Absolutely extraordinary. And then this afternoon, very much on the cards, the very first whitewash in the Bassmasters. Paul Strutt 15-0 up against Kevin Boone. Commentating the aforementioned Bob Crawshaw and Hugh Johns.
Oh, we've certainly got a little bit of drama on here now. Paul Strutt could be, just might be, on his way to a new Bass record. 15-0 his scoreline at the moment. And the record for the heaviest defeat in the Bass is the 21-3 in 1994 when Andrew Buckley beat Brian Duncan.
Foot behind!
Well, Paul Strutt, the hardest striker in the game, has got the block off. This is me. Terry Ashcroft tried to catch that. I was thinking to take his hand off. Woof, what a strike. Robert Crawshaw alongside me. What about that for a belt?
Well, I think people will regard Paul Strutt these days as being one of the best strikers in the game. He very, very rarely misses.
Thanks, Arthur. Not be long before it's over,
So with the rain now drenching down on this green, I wonder if it'll calm the fire that Paul Strutt is building. Or whether it will just produce another hit of steam for him.
I think Kevin Boone would rather it be a torrential thunderstorm rather than just rain, Hugh.
Gosh, he is being totally taken to the cleaners at the moment. 15-0 down.
Yeah, Kevin.
Paul Strutt in full flow. Oh, that's too way back. And in the ditch. Is this a chance, I wonder, for poor Kevin Boone to open his account?
Well, I think he'll have to find some speed here.
No way. That's another one to Paul.
Strut, one.
I think in this situation, Hugh, the pressure now will be on Kevin just to get on the score.
Indeed. Well, we've played just exactly 10 ends of bowls. And it's 60-0. Kevin Boone has walked off the green into the hut. Has he retired? Or has he just gone for a duster?
Yes, I think he's just gone to get a rag. I think
unless he's lost his rag entirely.
I think Kevin thinks the only hope he's got to get back in this game is to slow it really down and take his time.
Oh, the poor lad, crikey. He must have felt full of the joys of spring when he won his first round match yesterday, 21-19, against former champion, double champion, John Bancroft. And so Paul Strutt, needing just 5 for game. That's a foot off the target. Good lead bowl. Just gave up at the wrong moment then. Short of about a foot and a half around. Paul definitely is reaching over. Overreaching and ditching it.
15 inches. Flying through.
I certainly think the way that Paul's played this game up to now, there's a distinct air of determination in his game. I think that he could well go a long way in the competition.
Well, there's a fire in his eyes and an enthusiasm about his action on the footer. Plus the fact that he's got the family name to uphold.
Yes, he's certainly got a lot to live up to.
This very much a curling mark with a downhill finish. That's a great lead. Bias towards the ditch and the slope of the green assisting the bias at the back end of its travel. Great roar of applause for Kevin Boone because he's counting at this moment.
2 feet, pass. You're 4 feet, pass.
Could this be the first major moment in this match for Kevin Boone to trouble the scorers for the first time? Gone out. Kevin Boone has scored a point. Can he make it 2?
I certainly think there'll be a sigh of relief by Kevin after this end.
Just one, but that one.
Boone, 1.
And a great roar of applause for Kevin Boone.
So Kevin avoided the whitewash, and bearing in mind Andy Cairns' extraordinary comeback against Hughes co-commentator Robert Crawshaw, he refused to lie down or throw in the towel, even though Strut had been 1 chalk away from victory for quite a while.
Once again, he pushes it a long way out. The diagonal in this green is about 57 yards, and I would say this can, well, it's got to be 55 yards. 54 anyway. tremendous distance to push a bowl out on a soaking wet green, with the rain still teeming down.
I think Kevin has set this jack a little bit further than the actual mark he's been playing to get his way back to 8 points.
Well, getting a grip on the bowl in these conditions is pretty awful, isn't it, Robert?
Well, precisely, Hugh. It's you've got to play an absolute perfect bowl to get them anywhere near the jack in these conditions.
And of course it's a slippery object that you're hanging on to. I say Kevin Boone's done it again. Yes, he has. He won it again. Paul Strutt again having to push out with, he hopes, some extra running. It's not going to change anything.
Boone, whoa!
Yet another single.
Yes, I think there's a distinct change now in the mannerisms of the two players. One's become full of confidence and the other one's shoulders dropping slightly.
Yes, I think the body language is definitely sending messages out. But how long can Kevin Boone keep this up? Well, I suppose he's got a lot in reserve. He's been a spectator for most of the game.
Well, it looks like he's played another good ball here. These bowls have begun to look closer and closer to the jack for Paul, I can assure you of that.
Sailed through, well out. Left that one a bit short. Mind you, it's in the road if Strut was going to have a bang.
I think he's just played it underneath here.
It's another single.
Nearly a double.
In fact, I'm wondering if he might drag the chalks, the pegs out. No, just a one. Well, he's in double figures. And I hate to say it, Robert, but it is a very significant scoreline at the moment. Boone has 10, and Strut has 20. And there surely was another game today that a similar scoreline appeared at one point.
You keep reminding me of this, Hugh. I'm not going to buy you a drink later.
Yes, it's a cruel game, this game of bowls, as Roger Morgan was saying to me last night.
Go 2 yards, pass. Pass.
For the first time in, what, 5 or 6 ends, Kevin has not put pressure on with his lead bowl, and Paul Strutt has. No, he hasn't. I looked for a moment or two, he's going to make contact with the block and stay there. But this one has a bowl to beat to force Paul Strutt to play his second bowl. Can he do it? Run a bit more, run a bit more. Yes. So Paul Strutt knows what he's got to beat there. There's a big hole. It's gone clean out the back.
Boone, one.
Yet another one, and Paul Strutt taps his forehead and says to himself, come on now, concentrate. Get back with it. The sun is trying to break through again here at Blackpool. And it's smiling on the what was a careworn face of Kevin Boone. This rain would have made all the sort of naturalness of the green, the fast parts and the slow parts, a matter of guesswork now, I suppose, Robert.
Well, yes, I think Paul will actually be sending his bowls now by memory. He'll just be sending one out and hoping that it goes somewhere near.
Well, that bowl, I think, is a fair indication that he is a worried bowler, because that was well off the road.
Yes, I think it's certainly evidence of how cruel this green can be to you. Once you lose the feel of the jack for a few ends, you're certainly all at sea at it.
Well, surely it can be won here now for Paul Strutt.
You're almost the end.
Paul Strutt surely can win it with this one bowl now.
Well, he's
Turned it over.
He's not short.
If he hits well, I think he's won it. I think he's won it at long last. Yes, there's the handshake. Well, 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 it took a long time, but finally that elusive single comes up. And Kevin Boone, who was 21 down at 1 point, finally goes out 21-11.
I mean, it must have been awesome or intimidating playing someone in such awesome form early on. I mean, Paul looked so mean and hungry, didn't he? I mean, he played superbly, 17-0.
Yeah. Oh, he played really well. And when I got him, when we set him wood, like he was playing through and taking it out, and he weren't giving me much chance at all. Like.
You must have been delighted with your form, Paul.
I played well early on, yeah, before the rain came. It got a little bit difficult to find the length and grip the balls when the rain did come down, and without the jack for 4 or 5 ends, it gets very difficult. But yeah, I was pleased early doors.
I've got to tell you, Brian Duncan's not happy with you because, you know, his record of losing 21-3, which is the biggest losing margin in the history of the Bassmasters, he thought he was going to lose that.
Well, I don't know about that, but you just try and get in every end, and if you win 21-3, 21-1 or 21-11, it hardly matters as long as you're in the next round. That's the main thing.
Well, there are those who've won in the second round today: J Hodson, Dave McDermott and Paul Strutt. All credit there to Kevin Boone for putting up a great fight of it. They're the games you'll see tomorrow, including Brian Duncan against Andy Cairns. They're the two men, Roy Armson, who really enthralled us today on what has been a sensational day's bowls.
Yes, Andy Cairns was fantastic, but for me, the shot of the day was Brian Duncan.
The champagne moment of the day for you?
The champagne moment, definitely, yeah. Wayne Phillips' line game, and the shot was on to play, but in the Bassmasters, just yourself on the green, to take the jack through like that and count 2 shots for game was absolutely fantastic. A lot of pressure on that bowl.
Brian Duncan, the main man, who plays Andy Cairns tomorrow, of course, in the second round. I'll tell you what, tomorrow, Saturday, well, it's got a very tough act to follow. From all of us here, join us tomorrow at 12:30. Bye.